It's our pleasure to welcome now Wes Jennings, a Gillespie Distinguished Scholar, Chair and Professor of Criminal Justice and Legal Studies, also the Director of the Mississippi Institute for National Security and Resilience, Co-Director, National Center for Narrative Intelligence. That's a long title there, Wes, but we appreciate you coming on, man.
No, thank you so much. Good morning, Gerard. How are you? I appreciate having the opportunity to engage with you and the listeners on this new latest development and topic.
Absolutely. So the institutions of higher learning have recently approved the creation of a new Mississippi Institute for National Security and Resilience and a couple of other organizations, all related to securing the nation and its various assets. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so basically, typically centers or institutes at most universities, there's many of them naturally. Some of them have narrow focuses. Some of them have overlapping, focuses and interests. The idea is that rather than trying to replicate or duplicate or have multiple different centers all playing in the same pond, so to speak, and going after the same kinds of resources and industry partners and those kinds of things, and is to bring the general umbrella of an institute, the Mississippi Institute for National Security and Resilience, as the kind of overarching, I would say, like a constellation or a thrust area that Ole Miss is prioritizing to then be a flag in the ground, one large overarching area of national security and resilience that can support multiple centers, and not necessarily directly beneath it. All the centers have their own lanes, but when and where things overlap, particularly like the two new centers that you're alluding to, the Center for Information Advantage and Effectiveness and the National Center for Tactical Readiness. Those two centers are absolutely, obviously, aligned with areas related to national security. So the idea is the Institute can serve as a partner with those centers and other faculty and staff that are doing research in these areas to organize convenings for trainings. So rather than all of these different units trying to have their own individual meetings or convenings where they're bringing in, workforce development, industry partners, government officials, military, first responders, including law enforcement, EMS, for these kinds of trainings on resilience, whether it be physical preparedness or mental preparedness. The idea the Institute can serve as a connector to organize these things. So we bring all these, great people and players to campus at one time.
All right, so Wes, how is this connected to the federal government or any aspect of our U.S. military, our cyber defense systems? Are these organizations in some way commissioned by that level in our country? How does this fit in?
Oh no, thank you for that question, Gerard. Basically, this is intended to be a area, again, like in terms of having the resources potentially, from the federal government, from the state government. We're pursuing all resources to support the mission of this institute and these centers, with the idea that we are going to obviously provide a service to readiness and preparedness and training for the military and for folks that are in obviously high risk type of occupations generally, and also training workforce that is going to be providing a skill set and particularly useful skills for the next generations of the military, as well as workforce in general. Because resilience obviously is a concept, and as a practice is innate to all types of occupations. So we want to build a resilient workforce that would only further enhance our national security interests generally, and to further insulate, the United States from external actors that have, foreign malign influence.
Yeah, okay. I get it. So, I've always felt, Wes, that should there be a next global type of conflict, and I pray that that never happens, that it would be fought in cyberspace, not on a battlefield with traditional weapons, that you could do way more harm to your enemy with cyber attacks, honestly, than you could with attacks from airplanes and boats and bombs.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, the style of warfare, right, has changed drastically, and with the proliferation of technology and AI and all of those things, it's we have a different front in the war. And yeah, to your point, certainly hope none of those conflicts arise, but the point of it is we don't want to be sitting on the sidelines and just obviously hoping that those don't occur. We want to upskill, build a resilient current workforce and military, obviously, and then build the coming generations to be resilient, target harden the things in our industry, give people the trainings like you're mentioning in cybersecurity and cyber intelligence, so we can continue to be competitive and not be surprised by other far malign actors who are literally doing this on the other side, as we speak. They're not sitting on the sidelines either. We need
Right.
to not only just try to keep up, on the same level of those individual, those actors in places. We need to be passing them. We need to be the leaders in tightening up our security interests and building the most resilient bubble, figuratively speaking, over our country, so we can be the most protected for potential future, issues.
So what sort of human capital, Wes, will these three organizations need? Where do you stand on the organizational structure today?
Yeah, we just launched the institute in these two centers. As you mentioned, IHL approval occurred on October the 16th. So we're about a month in on the build out. We have, including myself, obviously, as you mentioned, the director of the institute. We have a director in place, Dr. Andrea Hickerson, for the Center for Information Advantage and Effectiveness, and we have a director in place, Dr. Chip Wade, for the National Center for Tactical Readiness. Each of those units are building out their organizational chart, right? Adding people and players to that, and then from that, it will just begin to grow in terms of staffing, and including graduate students, obviously engaging faculty and researchers at Ole Miss and at other universities, engaging with those areas. The idea that we're going to have affiliates of the institute and center that have different research lanes or educational or training lanes, so we can just scale out the ability for us to have our footprint expanded across the country. Again, we're about gathering the resources, right? Putting our arms around all the people with great ideas and doing the great work in this area, and coming together rather than doing a one-off only for this jurisdiction or that jurisdiction. We're
Yeah.
naturally focused on our state first, and
Okay.
that will be the primary focus, and then we'll grow out and from there.
Yeah, it's got to be a coordinated effort, as you know. Otherwise, it fails, and we just pursue different tangents and paths, and don't really adequately address the issue and the concerns. But it is a matter of economic and national security.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, those things go hand in hand. All our country and society, and our society's infrastructure related to banking, economy, technology, AI, energy, right? All of those things are really mission critical things that we have to be able to protect, and we have to be able to safeguard, and that affects all of us, right, in the country. So the idea of us identifying and working with key players and partners in all those different areas, and in government, industry, academia, having this real constellation of a broad group of stakeholders to build the best plane that we can, rather than just trying to build something fast.
Right, I get it, man. It's awesome, and Wes, it's fascinating. I appreciate you joining us today and providing that overview. We look forward to talking to you in the future about the progress being made. I think this is totally necessary, and I'm proud of Mississippi and the university here. Thanks a lot, Wes.
Absolutely. I thank you so much, Gerard, and your viewers for allowing me this time to engage. Yep. Always here to provide some updates and follow-up.
You bet. We're coming right back, folks, from the Element Wealth Studio.